Hi, and welcome to Focal Point. My name is Carla Green. I am the director of the Regional Prevention Center at the Kansas City, Kansas Community College. And with me today is Brigitte Gray. And Brigitte is a representative from the African American Student Union here on campus. And she's going to talk to us today about that organization, what their mission is, and some of the things that they've been doing in the community. So welcome, Brigitte.
Thank you.
So let's start off with, tell me a little bit about TASU. What's the purpose of TASU?
The purpose of TASU is to be a voice in the community, show diversity, dealing with politics, and awareness. We do different things in the community, as in, we did something with sickle cell. We partnered up trying to give out toys to the different, children that were of need that didn't necessarily have sickle cell. They just had to have the trait. So that's one aspect of.
Where'd you get the toys?
Those toys were donated from everywhere. We did part donations. Here at the college, we asked, people to give for that too. All over the community, different, different stores, anybody that could give. So that's where those donations came from.
Okay. If you had to come up with maybe 2 or 3 things that TASU focuses on, what would you say those things would be?
I would say we focus on being a voice, definitely being a voice, showing different sides of being diverse, whether it doesn't have to necessarily deal with being an African American, just something that you could just want to be a part of us or learn about us, any aspect of being an African American. We deal with SOL, ISO. You would call me out on that. I know it's dealing with the Hispanic culture.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter who we partner up with. We also want to learn about the different activities or different groups that are going on and back them. Just like Student Senate, we're on their activities committee. So we just want to make sure that the students that are out and they're doing these activities also see somebody that look like them,
okay,
whether it be whatever race they are.
You mentioned one of the reasons for TASU being an organization is to be a voice. What does that mean?
That means if you have concerns or, and we have concerns. We have different concerns that, might be from somebody else. We just want to be able to, if they relay it to us, and we know how to relay it back in a way that their voice will be heard, that they will get their problems, if it is a problem, solved.
Do you have an example?
Let's see. I do not have a direct example from us, but I do have a direct example of the dorm life. I know they were having problems over at the dorms, and so they went to Student Senate. And so it would be the same way with us. If we were having an issue that came through maybe the dean's office, or per se, let's go there, and it was dealing with us, they could come to us first and talk with us, and we could bring it to Student Senate and see if we could go in that direction of getting it solved.
Okay. So instead of asking someone to solve your problems for you, you're working through the process, being a little more responsible and solving them.
Yes.
Yourselves.
Because sometimes you don't know how to word
right.
What you're trying to portray,
mm-hmm,
and so maybe we can go ahead and brainstorm together. It just gives you more than one ideal by yourself, okay, and you're not alone. So this way you can come into a group, and now we can relay a message. So.
Okay. What are some other things? So we talked about, you mentioned diversity.
Yes.
What are some things with the diversity that you all deal with?
Right now we're trying to solve our problem of delivering Black History Month. So that right there entails being diverse. We are different, mm-hmm, and so why can't we during that month express ourselves? Right now we're not on the calendar, and maybe we can move forward in being on the calendar, because I think it is something that needs to be portrayed from us, whether it be Kwanzaa or something that we can now just relay to our students that we understand us, and we should be partaking in something else than just Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Why do you think that's important, that we try to promote diversity on our campus?
Because we're all different. You have a campus that is not just of one race or of one color or of one shade. So I feel that we have to portray us. If we don't portray us here, who else is? You know, who else are? There's no other way. You know, I want to be a solution to a problem. You know, not turning my back on one. So if I'm diverse or, you know, trying to relay that, then I'm not in the shadows. I'm now in the forefront. That goes back into being a voice too. So,
let's say I am Caucasian or Latino or Asian. Would I be welcome in TASU?
Oh yes, you're welcome. We went to a Black Leadership Conference, and you would expect that mostly everybody there would be of African American descent. That's the norm. So any other culture, you know, would feel that they weren't welcome. You had different races there, and you weren't expecting that. And you don't have to be that color or that ethnicity to understand their purpose or their cause, or trying to you know, understand what they understand. You get what I'm saying? So it's just a chance to be able to learn new things, meet new people, and to network. Why does it have to just be African American? My sister over here might be 3 parts whatever, 4 parts whatever, because that's what we are now. We have so many different cultures in us. It doesn't have to be just African American. I'm just maybe pointing on that, and that was my way in to get to every other avenue. But no, it doesn't just stop with being African American. You can be any race.
And you mentioned going to a leadership conference.
Yes, I did.
What are some of the things that you learned there? Some things that you could bring back to campus?
I learned that there is a need in the communities, and it's not just happening here. That not just for our students, they're not getting that extra something when they leave home from the transition of coming to school, but it's also starting in high school. If we can hit that there, because we dealt with a lot of high school students when we went, it was just a different way to approach them. They talked about something that they started there called Can We Talk? And it was just a way for them to express themselves to us, you know, to let us know what kind of problems that we're facing or whatever, so we could kind of, you know, talk about different issues. You know, what happens if you do get stopped by a police officer? Do you yell at him? Say, why are you in my face? Or how do you talk to him? What are my rights? What am I allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do? Should I have him search my car? You know, should I give that permission away? And I never thought of that. When I went there and the speaker got to talking, he made sense to me. And these are things that we are faced with. When we first got started, well, when I first got started driving, I didn't know what my rights were. I was driving and I was happy. And what happens if I got pulled over? You know, my insurance go up, you know, no. How do I show that officer respect and still respect myself and what my rights are? So.
Okay. What were some of the other issues that came up?
The other issues that came up were, let's see, let me think about those. We sat down with the other SBCU, or BSUs, and they had a Black Student Union.
Thank you.
Just like we're the African American Student Union, it's a difference. They were just trying to see to the needs of the youth. They saw that there was a gap there between high school and college, but they wanted to do where the different colleges got together. And they came up with a vision. You know, they came up with a layout, and I have no problems with trying to maybe partner in the future. And this is something that would come into play, you know, later on. But if we would have never went to the conference, and they gave me ideas to maybe try here, that will work, because I said you guys are motivated because you guys want to be here, and you're a select few. You know, I said, what is it that we can do to motivate our students here? And just to hear some other aspects of somebody else's ideals, where we're brainstorming together and they're way out in Manhattan and we're here in Kansas City, Kansas, just different things that we could do in Kansas to better Kansas. It was a great thing.
Okay. So were you able to get some contacts together so that you can actually begin to work together in the community?
I told them, do not let me leave without getting my information. And I told them, don't let me give you my information and then you just don't call.
Right.
Make sure that you stay in contact with me, just like I will stay in contact with you. Don't forget my name, you know. So we could see these things. We talk about it, but I also want to be about it. I want to make sure that, you know, things move forward, that we're not just staying, you know, straddled in the middle. You know, things come into play. We need to put a plan behind it. So
was the conference more about Black student unions themselves, or how to bridge that gap between high school and college?
More or less how to bridge that gap, so we can relate to them and they can know about the history of us and know that they can relate to somebody else, or you know, have somebody talk to coming in.
Okay.
And then, well, our difference is, I told them that our points that for each one of us we should be relaying things to our community, you know, to our students here. So that gap shouldn't even be, that gap should be bridged by us.
Okay.
The gap that we're trying to bridge all together is that gap coming in to prevent something from happening. So we're going to contain it with the starting of us dealing apart from our students, and then coming together to try to bridge the prevention of it starting with our high school students.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that gap that Brigitte has been talking about, and then talk about some of her personal feelings about why she has gotten involved in TASU and why she feels like that's a worthwhile organization. We'll be right back.
Every day, thousands of people are diagnosed with macular degeneration, a disabling eye disease that leads to severe vision loss. As a scientist conducting research for the American Health Assistance Foundation, I want you to know that there is hope that a cure and new treatments for macular degeneration will soon be found, but only if we can continue our groundbreaking research. Learn about my research. Call 1-800-437-2423 or visit ahaf.org for free publications on eye disease.
They said that Ritalin would help me focus. They lied. Find out the truth about Ritalin abuse. drugfreeworld.org.
Welcome back to Focal Point. We left off before the break talking about a recent experience with some of the TASU students and going to a leadership conference, and the things that they had talked about, and mostly about bridging that gap for our students between high school and college, and making sure that they have some of the supports that they need to increase their chances of being successful. So we're going to keep talking about that a little bit. Tell me, when a student gets to our campus for the first time, what are some things that TASU or other organizations for that matter can do to help ease that transition for students?
We were trying to put in place where when they come in and they do the high school visits and do the campus tours, we have an advisor that deals with that hands-on, and he gave us dates. We just hadn't decided were we going to interact and how we were going to interact to kind of maneuver in there. In my brain, in my philosophy, I feel that I want to go into the high school. I want to kind of hit them there first, even before the high school visits, before they know who we are. Kids today, for me, if you just come in and you're just talking for a period of time, it goes in one ear and out the other. This is something that we want to stick with them. We want them to remember us. Right. So if we go in first off and maybe ask the schools, just the high schools, the 5 different high schools that we have here, USD 500, and then have them when they come in for the campus tour, and then talk to them again. so we can bridge that gap right there.
So tell me this. You want to go to the high schools, talk to students. What are you going to say to them?
We want to tell them their history.
Okay.
That's one thing I did learn about the BSU there. It was big for them to know the history. And that's something that I would have thought they would have found boring. But no, it was totally the opposite. It was inspiring for them. So we should know our history.
So when you say we should know our history, give me an example of something from history they need to know.
First, I have to start in-house. I feel like we should know our history, as in our past members need to come back to talk to us. That's something that we want to have in play, because there's some things that I don't know about. We have somebody here on campus that was here when we first started. So we need to have them come back in and remind us of what was going on then and how it correlates now. So with saying that, let them know our history, as in from the beginning of when we found it, so you know where something to stand on. You have a foundation. Mm-hmm. And then going forth on maybe the aspects of why I joined, something that they can stand on. You know, knowing when you started something or why you have that type of mission or your history. We're implicating Black History Month, okay, right? Okay, so we're doing that push. So us starting with our history and letting people know our history is a big thing too.
Okay. What brought you to TASU?
I wanted to join something that I felt had a purpose, that had a vision, and knew where it was going. There were all the other organizations that were going on, but our past president that we had kept seeing me, and she eventually wouldn't let me pass by anymore. And she said, you need to come in to a meeting. And I came in, and I was totally quiet a couple of times. About the third meeting, I said, okay, this is something that I wanted to do. I want to be active in this. And then I looked up, and I was in full swing. I mean, I was in everything that was going on. I was a paid member. I was in something on campus, and this was my second time around with getting a second BA. I really wasn't planning on being hands-on, but it was a need. It was a definite need. And if I believe in education, just like that same reason why I wanted to be part of a solution and not be a problem. Most people turn away and they say, oh, that's somebody else's job. Well, the first thing I want to do is be, hey, that involves me, that there's a reason why that they're doing this, and I tend to like it. You know, I understand where they're trying, what vision they have. I can see it because I'm a visual person. So if I can see it, then I know it's achievable. I don't like the word can't, so I know I can get it done. So
it almost sounds like you're talking about a sense of belonging when it comes to students. Is that
oh, yeah,
what you mean?
Not just belonging to the students, it's the community. I see kids, and I'm not talking about students here because they're adults, and I give them that respect. Even high school, I give them that respect. But I'm saying young kids, elementary school and middle school that are going around here, and they're trying to find something. And we touch the community. Just being in an organization, period, linked me to being with Student Senate, linked me to meeting you, linked me to meeting different people and networking, where the need that's in the community that I see every day, I can now be a participant instead of sitting back in the shadows and none of the kids getting anything that they're needing. They're saying they need school supplies. They're saying that they need hats and coats. You want me to put them on, but I don't have them, so what am I going to do? These are things that were touched on, and now we can implement. You know, kids didn't have a certain place to congregate. You know, they're closing down things that kids used to be able to get into. That I was, growing up. They closed down, what is it, Scaland from a different time. Well, that's where I spent most of my time, and it kept me out of trouble. So if we, as organizations, we fill out different things, well, let's open it up for them between this time, and we're responsible for them. Well, that gives them something else to look forward to. This gives them now an outlet, and we're starting young.
Right. So it sounds like what you're saying is that the activities that TASU initiates or participates in will not just be activities on campus, but you're also talking about doing some activities out in the community.
Oh yeah, we're looking at trying to get a fundraiser going for the bowling alley. This is something that we can get some proceeds, but just to build up where we can do some more things outside in the community. Just to open up where we can have bowling, where it's somewhere safe for them to go. Students on campus that are in the dorms can meet other people. We have off-campus students that, can get there. We're going to do transportation where they wouldn't be able to get there if they were stuck on campus. It's just a way for us to go and relax and have fun in an organized manner.
Okay.
So.
I know TASU is still working on a calendar of activities to
Yes.
participate in. What's on your wish list of things that you all can do?
Well, I talked about the one on our wish list. Everything I'm saying is not etched in stone yet.
Right.
This is something that we're seeing, and I even gave you our bigger, broader view. One thing that I wish to see is that we definitely leave something behind for our next members. So that's my vision. Whether it be scholarships, because there might be a student or something that is not able to, didn't have the funds to come here. Mm-hmm. So I don't want that to stop them from, and then they already know, hey, this is something, they gave me money, they love me, or they, welcome me. So to bring them in that way too. So.
Okay. So what have you gotten from TASU?
I have learned from TASU organizational skills, time management, and the list goes on and on. I have learned to be ready at all times. Mm-hmm. I've learned to have a different type of demeanor and poise, not changing me, but in the betterment of that any situation I might be able to blend.
Okay.
Or any environment I could be able to cope in.
Okay.
Because before, I can't say before, I'm definitely changed from when I first started, mm-hmm. then to my point now. And when you join anything, you want something to be different.
Right.
You definitely don't want to come in the same way that you leave. And I definitely say I'm changed. So organization is a big key. My time management, multitasking, being able to talk to people, all the way down to etiquette on how you eat, because people are watching you at all times. Mm-hmm. And I am a hand person. I talk with my hands. So it's all about the visual and outside appearance too, and not trying to change me, but just to better me so I blend. I have to be able to deal with any type of environment.
So the skills that you have learned and are continuing to learn just by participating in TASU are actually skills that will stay with you for the rest of your life. They aren't just skills that you are able to apply here on campus, but they're things that you'll be able to use in the workplace.
Yeah, in the workplace, dealing with my kids' teachers, dealing with my kids, time management and organization and being able to communicate and talk well with others applies to the big spectrum.
Right.
It doesn't say just, we always talk about our careers and what mm-hmm. we're going to have ahead of time. We always are moving to that, but it was bigger than that.
Right.
I've learned to be, a better mother. I don't want anything to ever replace their time, so I had to try to manage. And just dealing with my community. We don't, and I say this, I I had to be able to find other people that might speak a different language to relate something to me. This is the same type of thing. I have to be able to relate to myself, and I might not be speaking to somebody that understands me, but how am I going to do that? So I had to figure out different ways to prepare me. I might have to do a little research. I might have to find out a little bit of background about somebody else, so then maybe they can understand and want to know about my background too,
Right.
if that makes sense.
So I'm a student. I'm a new student on this campus. You passed me in the hallway. We're both on our way to class. You have 30 seconds to convince me to join TASU. What do you want me to know?
I would want you to know what our mission is.
Okay. And what's that?
Our mission is dealing with political
Okay.
awareness, diversity, and having a voice.
Okay.
I would also want you to know that you are loved, and that if you are needing help, I'm there for you. And that's why I always say hello. You might pass by in the hallway and nobody ever speaks to you, but at least you know somebody has spoken for the day. What else would I want to relate to you? Be a part. Don't sit back in the backgrounds, because most of the people that are in college now were the people, not so much the athletes, because they already have somebody to be a part of.
Right.
Not so much the academics, because they have their own Phi Beta Kappa. I'm talking about the people that might be in the middle and trying to find somewhere. There is a place for you, So if you're one of those people, I'm there,
Okay.
So maybe I can give you something else to do than just wander around in the hallways. Be a part of me too.
So the next time I see you in the hallway, you are going to speak.
Always.
Okay. Well, Brigitte, thank you for coming today. I know I kind of took you out of your box a little bit, but thank you.
Yes, that's okay.
And thank you all for joining us on Focal Point.